Hey, everybody, it is Tim Gillette, and I am here with another Tim Gillette show. I'm Tim Gillette, your host, and I'm interviewing some of the top people that I know around the world. Now, usually, Tim Gillette show is about interviewing people who are creating content, all right, to help you learn how to build content to build your business. Well, today's guest does do that, but he does it in many different ways. But also, today's guest is someone who I have to admit, all right, when it comes to leadership, all right, or anything, I take this man's practical advice because he is a leader in business, in the world, all right, and in many conferences we go to. I've had the privilege of knowing Larry Broughton for, I think, about 8 or 9 years that we've known each other, maybe a little longer than that. And from the day I met him, all right, I have looked up to him because, first of all, he's a little taller than me. But other than that, he is a leader. And nothing shows that he is a leader more than what he's doing right now, all right, with the struggles that are going on in our world. And I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit because when it comes to breaking something down to practical, real, Larry Broughton is the king at doing it. So let me bring him on the air here. Larry Broughton, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. Hanging out there in California, I guess you're still stuck in the house?
Still play the Dragons from my house, yes. Although we are considered essential workers, our hotels, and so I do have to venture out from time to time. But yeah, we're doing like everyone else, Zoom video conferencing. The good news for us is we've been using Zoom for years. I think shortly after it launched, we've been using it. So it's not like it's been a big learning curve for us. So thanks, Tim, for having me on the show. Yeah, it's been, I don't even know how many years we've known each other at this point, but it's been a fun ride for sure.
Like I said, you've taught me so many leadership things. First of all, I mean, like, good. I make my bed every morning because you told me to.
Hey, I was saying that before it became popular, right? Yeah. And then some admiral included it in his speech. But I remember the first time being at a conference and saying that, and people getting pissed off at me, for saying that I should make my bed, and I was judging them for not making their bed. It's not like I was judging them. And in fact, two of the people who kind of got peeved off at me thought that I was making a character judgment. And I was like, no, it's just that if you damn, then at least you have a small victory in the day, because sometimes it just eats you up. When you come home before you go to bed, at least right. Today I had one small victory versus walking in and it's like consciously there's one more thing I didn't do. So make your damn bed.
And it's funny because, like, I have this outline for this book of, like, you know what I mean? You don't need a life coach, how to fix your own damn life. And, like, chapter 1 into it is make your damn bed in the morning. Anyway.
Oh, good.
But I got it from you. Over
the years. I mean, everybody, it's probably in the military, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I never did time in the military, but I've learned that from a lot of military people that we have. And I've got a couple of the military guys scheduled to come on in the next couple of weeks. Same thing. And I'm sure they'll back me up on it. You up on it too.
Good.
So,
good.
Well, Larry, I mean, you've taught me leadership just in the way you do things. All right. You're appreciative of your staff. You're appreciative of people who help you. And you show it everywhere you go. I remember a time where you were speaking at an event, and I could tell you were caught up in conversation, and I knew you wanted something to go on stage, and I figured it was your tea. I said, Larry, you need me to go to Starbucks to get you something. And he said, yeah, Tim, I need my tea. So I said, I'll go take care of it, Larry, so you can continue your conversation. And it took so long at the Starbucks to get it. And I come back and I'm trying to sneak it up on stage without anybody knowing I'm doing it so that it's there for you. Because I'm not trying to get noticed. I'm just trying to make sure you're taken care of.
Right. Yeah.
And you did this whole thing about, talking about me. And I'm like, I didn't do that.
But Tim, that is the thing though, right? Too often people are like, what can I get from this person instead of just flipping, serving, doing the little things. In the Bible, it's like washing someone's feet, right? Serving somebody, right? Doing the small stuff. So I wanted to recognize you for that because I knew you weren't trying to get something from me. All you saw that I had a line of people who wanted to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I was drinking tea with honey, and you're like, hey, do you need anything? And it's not like you made a big deal out of it. It's clear you were trying to be covert about it. Believe me, if it looked to me like you were trying to get attention, I wouldn't have called it up. But no, I appreciate that. And I just want to kind of not correct you, but here's what I try to do. Words have meaning, all right, especially for leaders and when we're communicating. Because what I say oftentimes is that if you want to be a transformational leader, you have to be a master storyteller. And when you tell stories, you tell fables, you tell parables, every word has meanings. And so what I try to get our leaders to do is not to call the folks who work with us, who help us complete the mission. I try not to call them employees. I try not to call them my staff. I try to call them as our team members.
Yeah.
My team members. Well, why? Well, because when people feel like they're on your team, they show up and act like you're on their team. We're all in this together. So I'm not busting your chops.
No, but it is.
I hope that the leaders that are on this call will understand that they're not customers, they're clients, right? Because clients are relational, customers are transactional, and more than ever, boy, do we need relational. I don't know, relationships.
Yeah. And even in this, Larry, I mean, and I know, I've seen you jump into a couple of things this week. I mean, and I know part of it is because you're locked in your house and you know what I mean? I've gotten everybody, it seems, on these calls. But when you actually do that for your team and you do stuff with the team, it's like you're always trying to learn, like you're trying to be a learner. You're trying to be somebody who helps. But on occasion you have to get help. I mean, and tell me what you do when you have to get help. I mean, who are the people you lean on?
Well, there's so much. What do I do to learn? First of all, is I am committed to lifelong learning. I wish I had more time to listen to music and that kind of stuff like I used to, but I'm always listening to podcasts. I'm always listening to audiobooks to try to learn. I try to surround myself with people who are bolder and brighter than I am. On my best days, I do actual reading each morning. On my best days, when I'm hurting or stuck or don't know which way to go, I have a handful of people that I call. Dave Braun happens to be one of them. I have a handful of close friends and confidants and allies. And by the way, those are all different. We should be really clear on that. And the key is, who do you call in what circumstance? You call a friend for one thing, you call a confidant for something else, and you call an ally for something else. Allies will tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. Friends will usually tell us what we want to hear. And so when I have a tough business decision to make, I will call on an ally. Sometimes that ally is a friend, and they're able to easily shift between being a friend and being an ally, but they'll give me my medicine. So that Chris Dombach, for instance, this week was one of those guys who was not only a friend, but an ally, and kind of held my feet to the fire and said, this is, stop pussyfooting around. Don't hide behind an email. Get out in front of it, do the damn video, quit whining about it. You need to do it. Do a video.
Yeah.
So.
And when it comes to relaying your message, speaking of video, I've noticed that, you're not afraid to get on video, get on stage, all right, get on a call. Was it always that way, Larry? Or
well, that's not true.
Yeah.
I'm always afraid.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well, let's see. It doesn't look that way to me, but yeah.
Well, that's from practice, right? I can tell you, I know world-class athletes, I know world-class performers, and I know world-class MMA fighters, and some of them actually throw up before they go on stage, get in the ring, go on the field. They're afraid too.
Yeah.
That's not what courage is. That's not what bravery is. It's being afraid and doing it anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's it. Do I handle it better now? Of course. Yeah. And it's just because I don't give up. I lean into it. One of my, for some reason, there are repeating themes this week, clearly, because we're all kind of in this together. And what part of my morning affirmations is that I value my future self and circumstance more than my current self and circumstance. And when I remember that, then even though I'm afraid to go up on stage, I know that if I do this, then I'm going to have more of a positive impact. Fear and anxiety oftentimes creep in when we start internalizing things and making it about me. But when I start making it about other people, I'm going to serve them. The fear and anxiety diminishes. It goes down. But no, when it comes to the speaking, let's talk about the speaking and in business about fear, right? On the speaking thing, I've bombed. I can remember 2 times within 3 days, 3 or 4 days that I bombed terribly, terribly. One in front of Governor Tom Ridge and Senator Rick Santorum. They were in the audience, and I bombed terribly, right? That was on a Saturday. On a Monday, I had to come back and speak to our leadership team at my former company where I was the VP and partner. I went up in front of those 50 or 60 people. And what did I remember? That I just bombed 3 days ago. And so what did I do? All the negative self-talk, and I bombed in front of them. People who directly reported to me, right?
Yeah.
So how did I respond to that? Well, I went to my assistant, Katie, and said, Katie, I don't care what you do, but you need to get me 30 talks in 30 days. Because I knew that if I did 30 talks in 30 days, I could not prepare for them. There's no way I can be able to prepare for 30 talks in 30 days, right? And I told her, I said, I don't care whether I'm speaking to Girl Scout troops or prayer breakfast on Fridays. I don't care what it is. You need to get me in front of 30 groups in 30 days. And she did. And there were days where I didn't have anything, but I remember there were a couple of days where I did a morning talk, a midday talk, and an evening mixer. And what could I have done? Well, what I could have done is said, I just bombed on Saturday, and it's now Monday night, and I bombed today. I'm not cut out for this public speaking thing. I'm just going to let somebody else do it. And I'm just always going to say, I'm not a good keynote speaker, or it's not who I am. You've seen me do keynotes.
Yes, I have.
I'm pretty damn good at it now.
You've gotten pretty good, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I still get a little bit nervous about it. Not nearly as much as I used to, but it creeps in once in a while. But I've trained myself now on how to self-talk, what to do to get up there. I got a little nervous. I did a big keynote for Walmart at their open call. There's like 3,000 people there this past year, and the CEO, all the CEOs were there. They got a couple. They've got the America CEO and that CEO, and big deal, right? And they were paying me really good money. I had about 15 seconds of, oh my gosh. But then I looked at the crowd and I saw how excited they were, for me to be there. And I remembered all the positive impact I've had in my life. That I have had on other people's lives by doing this. It subsided. But also, and it's, I think, a really good thing for us to remember, is that learning fuels preparation, right? So you've got to be learning. Preparation fuels courage. And because I was doing the hard work, it's like I'd been out practicing over and over again. I did have the courage to step out there and do it. Now, in business, the reason I needed to talk to Chris on Sunday, probably 3 times on Sunday, the guy I'd mentioned earlier, was because I was trying to talk myself out of doing what I knew I needed to do. I wanted to hide behind an email, but I knew I needed to do a video. I was scared. Well, what were you scared of, Larry? When the CEO of a high-profile company steps out and says, I need help, I can't do this by myself anymore, there is the risk of looking like a fool, of there being haters, embarrassing me, my team member, and my companies, damaging my reputation, damaging the reputation of my company. There are a lot of downsides to that. And so, and we could talk about all of that here in a second, but there's plenty to be afraid of about doing it.
Yeah. I want to touch on something you just brought up there. All right. In your career, both being in business as well as, doing speaking, have you had some haters?
Yeah, I got one last night. Of course I've had haters.
Yeah.
If you don't have haters, you're not pushing the envelope enough. That's the way I feel about it. You're not being authentic enough.
Okay.
I wish there weren't as many haters. I wish you would say, man, Larry, I just disagree with you on that, but do what you need to do. I wish that we could be more like that. But for whatever reason, I've heard you call them that. I've heard, other people that we know call them, these keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Who think they're so very courageous when they're sitting behind a keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
who will say things that they would never say to your face.
Yeah.
Right. I would rather somebody step up to me and say it to my face, and we can talk about it, because a long time ago, I stopped trying to seek agreement,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just not real. You and I are so different. We're so very much alike. But if we're thinking people, we're not going to see things the same way. What I would rather have is understanding. Because if we seek understanding, then we can navigate the battlefield and know which way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had haters. But I can count on one hand the number of public haters that I've had since Monday, compared to the thousands, literally thousands of DMs, text, phone calls, cards, emails that I've received supporting what I'm doing. But what I've realized over the years is that, because I'm in the customer service business, for crying out loud, I know that the people who speak out are either on one end of the extreme or the other. The people in the middle tend not to say anything. They're just, okay, whatever.
I mean,
yeah,
even yesterday, a friend of mine someone I've been friends with for years, was making a comment about something on their show.
Yeah.
And I know it was, they were saying something like, they don't really like Terry Gross's interview style. And I'm like, I love Terry Gross's interview style, and like the conversation went between what I was putting in the comments and what she was saying on the camera was like, we were opposing. So finally I wrote, listen, we're going to have to disagree on this. I still love you.
Yeah.
And eventually, I wasn't trying to hide. I was just I'm like, wow, I think it's someone I admire on interview style.
That's interesting. Yeah. So Terry Gross interviewed me years ago, years and years and years ago. And so that's funny that her name came up. But literally last night over dinner, my daughter is 18. My son is 16. One of them loves The Office, and one of them can't even understand, like, there's no humor in The Office. Right. And so they were talking about generationally how people respond to The Office. And we had the same conversation. I'm like, it's a difference of opinion. And then the topic of comedy and music came up. How come some people like this and some people don't like that? Thank goodness we're all different like that. I don't want to be hanging around with a bunch of people like me. I barely like me. No, it's not true. I love me now. I didn't always.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, there's going to be haters. But I think that if we just, darn it, why can't we just admit or accept that there's going to be difference of opinion? Is it different? Is it really going to impact the world whether one likes The Office, one doesn't? Somebody likes Terry Gross's interview style and somebody doesn't.
Yeah.
Not in the least.
So like even my wife and I have total different opinions on what we want to watch on TV. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. We do agree on something. We like to live in the same house with each other. That's all that matters.
There you go. Do the big things matter? Exactly. Yeah.
That's what really matters. So you've got two kids. I mean, high school age. What are they dealing with in this?
Well, one's in college, and one's in high school. One's an extrovert and one's an introvert. So they're dealing with them completely, differently. To be honest with you, I think extroverts are having a very hard time with this. Introverts are like, welcome to my world. But both of them, their mom and I are trying to make sure that they're getting social interaction, whether it's with our family. We live in separate houses, and so the kids are back and forth. Thank goodness we're only about a mile apart. That helps a lot. But hold on, I've got the phone is buzzing here because I've got all kinds of stuff going on. So I just turn that off. So they're dealing with it in their own ways. A lot. The people that are their age are used to doing this online stuff. They're doing it all the time, but it does not replace the physical hugs. We have to do that. We know that physiologically something happens when human touches human, right? And so we're encouraging, that, and so they're doing okay. The whole schooling thing is. I think most schools are limping along right now, but guaranteed next year it's going to be a different world for the online learning. My both kids go to private schools, and so they've always had kind of, I don't want to use cutting edge, but superior, I think, compared to a lot of schools, their online learning platforms. So they're doing fine. They're doing fine. Thank goodness. Like I said, they've got a mom and stepdad who love them, and a dad who loves them, and we're all, just loving on them.
So yeah, so our kids are adults and moved on, and like we finally convinced the one son to come over tomorrow. The other ones are like, no, we're going to stay in isolation. So for us, it's like we want to touch our kids, and we can't because they're adults and they've moved up. So
I get it, man. Yeah. I get it.
So Larry, in what we're going through in our world, all right, and you're doing everything. I see you're doing all these things that you can, and you're still quite an encouragement to people. And I've seen you on a couple of other podcasts this week. Going out and jumping on these podcasts right now, are they a relief for you, or getting interviewed? Is it a relief for you, or you're going, you know what, is that part of the brave? I'm still going to keep my face out there right now. I know that's a tough question to answer. So did he lock up on me? That's not the question to lock up. His screen froze on me. And it looks like, at least he had a nice face on him when he froze. So hopefully he comes back here in a second. When he does, we'll get into that. But Larry, yeah. Maybe he paused on the question. Or maybe he's talking and I'm the paused one. Okay. So I'm sure he'll pop back in here in a minute. But anyway, this is a tough thing. I mean, it looks like we've had tough connections here this morning. But Larry Broughton with Broughton Hotels and Ugozi, and I'm sure I hope he is able to connect back in. There we go. Are you back?
I'm back. You know, one of the things I'm saying on every podcast I get on, I stay at virtually and almost all the meetings that I'm doing with our team members, is now is the time more than ever to be offering forgiveness, patience, and grace as freely as often as possible. Because the internet, you guys have probably seen the same thing that I'm seeing. It is over freaking whelmed right now. So there's a lot of lagging and everything else going on. So anyway, I don't know what we were talking about, Tim. What the heck were we talking about?
Well, I'd asked a question. I said, well, with these interviews right now.
Right. I did hear that. Is it a relief for me or a release for me? Is it helpful? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, because it actually is. And you're right. I am doing a lot. I'm working around the clock, which I'm not complaining about. I love that because it keeps me busy. My brain always goes a million miles an hour. You know, even when things are sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, I'm sleeping maybe 6 hours a night. It's probably half of that right now. But it gets me out of my own stuff, and I am built. I'll just say it, you know, people describe me as a sheepdog, right? My job, my DNA is built to protect the flock against the wolves who are trying to get us, right? And part of that sheepdog mentality is to serve, is to help other people. And so the way I look at this is, does it suck where I am right now? Partly it does. But I've got great things happening going on as well. We could talk about that too. But if somebody can learn from what I'm going through, I'm going all better. Not probably going and I think about and protecting your team is something that we can learn for having record-breaking, or we actually straight along. It's helpful. It's helpful to me.
Cool. You're a lot of that's breaking up, Larry. I don't know if we're
That was the best thing I've ever said, Tim, and it broke up.
Hey, I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah. What you can do on this end so it doesn't still breaking up?
Yeah, it keeps breaking. It comes in and out. Like every now and then we get a good clip and then we get a bad clip, and that's I was wondering I thought maybe it was my connection too. So anyway,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I knew. I've got an Ethernet plugged in here. So
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, those of us who do this on a regular basis, that I have my whole world designed. Like you said, you had the Zoom and everything set up. All right.
Yeah.
You know, for a long time, so you were aware of these tools out there, and thank God we knew how to use them.
Yes.
And I'm glad. So let's talk about some of the good things going on in your world right now.
Okay.
What are some of the good things going on in your world?
We got people who leave. Let's be first. We'll get those out of the way. Relationships. The time where I'm doing a lot of weeding out of people who are kind of on the fence about me and me about them. Loyalty is real important to me in my life, so that's good to find out what's going on there. But on the business side, I think you knew about this. For about 2 years, we've been working on putting together an asset acquisition fund. That continues. We're still working on that, and I hate to say it, but property values in the hotel industry are going to be plummeting here over the next few months, and which means there's going to be an opportunity to acquire some assets. My challenge is the short term. My challenge is not long term. Long term future looks bright. I know that when we get through where, this tough spot over the next couple of months, 3 months, 4 months, we'll get through that. We're going to come out a bigger, stronger, more profitable business for sure. But I got to survive the next 3 or 4 months. It's the short-term battles. It's almost like how the Civil War, how the North was getting crushed in the beginning during the Civil War. But man, if you just hang on there, then things are going to turn out okay. So there's a lot of good things that are happening. My relationship with some of my team members is getting stronger than they've ever been. I'm getting really close with our VP of Business Development, who's currently in London, and that's turning into be an amazing relationship and support mechanism for me, both personally and professionally, and I think vice versa for him. So a lot of great things are coming out of this.
Yeah,
it's not all bad.
No, it's not. It is not all bad.
I see people like you that are being and actually.
And that I know that was good. All right, as he breaks up,
rising on the news, and making the best. But
yeah, I missed all of that, Larry. You still there?
Yes, I'm on.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, dang it." So, Tim, what do you want to do on this?
Are you still there?
Yes. Try to do this over?
Yeah. We may try and do this over another time. I mean, because it's like today is just a rough day, and it's okay. I get it. I appreciate you even taking time on a Saturday to spend time with me. Yeah.
Of course.
As always, Larry, you always have great, you always have great, information to give us, and you're always there with a positive version of, of what we're going through. You can always, every time I've ever talked to you, you're always putting that in, that there's good coming out of this. So
yeah. Are we still lagging or frozen?
You know what I mean? I get like a sentence out of you here and there. So I mean, I'm gonna try it one more time.
All right. I'm sorry, Tim.
It's okay.
All right.
Hey, it's all good. All right. There's going to be good out of this. So, I mean, I heard you do your 30 speeches in 30 days. And I think that's probably another places that I've got inspiration, Larry.
Oh, good.
And trying to do doing this 100 interviews in 30 days is a lot.
Yeah. It's impressive.
And it's, and like I don't know if you know Kyle Wilson here in Dallas.
No, I don't.
Kyle used to run Jim. I think he was ran Jim Rohn's company. Okay. All right. And Kyle just bluntly came out and said, "Tim, what's your goal with this?" And I never sat and went, "Well, I never sat and wrote down a goal with it.
Yeah.
But it's good because people are prompting me to actually, Tim, what are you going to do past this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something you would normally do for me, but yeah, thank you. So let me do this, Larry, because we've gone in and out. I'm going to close up here, but I've got my little game called This or That. Do you think you can play?
I don't know maybe. Let's do it. I'm a risk taker. I'm in.
First of all, let's mention your website, and I'm going to put it up here on the thing here. If you want to get some free gifts from Larry, all right, it's pronounced Ugozi.
Yep.
All right. And we got it on the screen. I guess I should spell it out for those people who are listening to the audio. So you want to say it out for the audio people?
Yeah, it's YOOGOZI.com gifts. And what that is, you will see a video of the plea that I put out to the public earlier. Now, when you go to put your name in there, if you can find it in your heart to offer us, it can help cover people.
And I know he broke up there to offer. I mean, he's saying, offer what you can to help. Is that correct, Larry? If you come back, so. Oh my gosh. This has been a wonderful day. All right, just to show you. I mean, as Larry comes back, and I'm sure he'll come back in a second here, but Larry, I have to say, is one of the most patient men I know. Even through this.
Going on.
Are we able to finish this? I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can get you back there.
Well, here.
I heard here out of that statement you just said.
I'm sorry, brother. Sorry. You want to type questions in?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. We will attempt this, all right? And my first question to you, Larry, is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Trek.
Kirk or Picard?
Kirk.
This next one here, I kind of know, but I'm going to ask it. Red pill or blue pill?
Red pill, I guess.
The next one is going to be personal because I know you. Is Clint Eastwood or John Wayne?
John Wayne.
My dad loved John Wayne as well. So if you got a choice to have a glass of wine or a bottle of beer, what you going to have with your friends?
Beer.
Yeah. Craft beer or
craft, probably.
Yeah. Okay. How about the hamburger or taco debate?
Hamburger. Well, cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger? Yeah. I will gladly pay you on Tuesday for a cheeseburger today.
Okay. Yes.
How about beach or mountains?
Oh, I can't choose, man. I love them both. That's why I'm in California. Can do them both in one day.
You can. And probably within the hour.
Yes. Yeah. Or a couple. Big Bear and Laguna. Yes.
Yeah. How about read a book or listen to a podcast?
Oh, probably podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I like them both, but I do a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I'm starting to listen to a lot more podcasts and audiobooks. You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah.
I can do them on the move.
Yeah, I can keep doing what I'm doing and listening to them. So my last two questions, Larry, this one here can create wars at this point in time. And actually a girl earlier said that, you know what I mean? If her boyfriend did the opposite, she would actually break up with him over this.
Okay.
And Scott McCain actually said, this is the question to ask if you want to get reaction to a radio show. Toilet paper, under or over?
Oh, it's over. It's over.
Yeah. So yeah, earlier in the week, a girl, Cammie, said, yes, I will break up with the guy if he puts it under. And Scott,
honestly, I don't care as long as it works.
Really.
If I have a choice, over.
Yeah. This last one here could be a bit personal, but I'm sure it's something we all have a preference in, especially guys, is boxers or briefs. And that's the one he's going to freeze on. Did you hear that one?
How about this? Am I back?
You're back. Did you hear the last question or no?
Freestyle.
Oh. Hey, Larry Broughton,
yes.
thank you for doing this and enduring the technical difficulties through our morning. As always, man, I appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Get them.
Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. It's Tim Gillette Show. We're doing 100 interviews, 30 days. Thank you to Larry Broughton and ugozi.com/gifts. All right now, go over there and check them out. Broughton Hotels, as soon as we're able to get out of the house, book you a stay at a Broughton Hotel.
Yes, please.
I hear they're a pretty classy joint. I just hear.
Whatever. All right. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, guys. All right, guys, this is Tim Gillette Show, and we'll be back with another episode real soon. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.